The world right now feels tense. Everywhere you look, headlines are dominated by conflict, political tension, and fears of war. News feeds are filled with discussions about global instability, military strategies, and the uncertainty of international relations. For many people watching the news day after day, it can feel overwhelming, almost as if the world is constantly on edge. But today, something unusual happened in Washington, D.C. While much of the global conversation focused on war and political conflict, the White House became the stage for a completely different kind of story. A story about sports, celebration, and the power of football to bring people together. President Donald Trump welcomed Lionel Messi and the players of Inter Miami to the White House to celebrate their Major League Soccer Cup victory. In a moment that quickly caught the attention of fans across the globe, one of the greatest athletes in history stood alongside the President of the United States holding the MLS Cup trophy. For a brief moment, the conversation shifted. Instead of war, people were talking about football. Instead of conflict, people were celebrating a championship. Welcome to NEWSIX Brief. Today we're taking you inside this remarkable moment, exploring why this White House celebration became such a powerful contrast to the tense global atmosphere surrounding it. Because when Lionel Messi arrived in the United States to play for Inter Miami, many people knew it would be big. But few could have predicted just how transformative it would become. When Messi first announced his move to Major League Soccer, the football world reacted with shock and excitement. After spending most of his legendary career dominating European football with Barcelona and later Paris Saint-Germain, Messi made a decision that changed the trajectory of soccer in North America. He chose Miami, and almost instantly, the entire sports landscape in the United States began to shift. Inter Miami matches became must-watch events. Stadiums filled to capacity. Fans traveled across the country, hoping to witness the magic of Lionel Messi in person. Ticket prices surged, television ratings climbed, and social media exploded with highlights from every match he played. For Major League Soccer, it was a turning point. For years, the league had been steadily growing, expanding into new markets and building stronger foundations for the sport in America. But Messi's arrival accelerated that growth in a way few people expected. Suddenly, MLS was not just a regional league. It became part of the global football conversation. Every time Messi stepped onto the field, millions of viewers around the world tuned in. And then came the championship run. Inter Miami's journey to the MLS Cup was filled with dramatic moments. Game after game, the team demonstrated resilience, creativity, and determination. Messi's leadership on the field played a crucial role, not only through his extraordinary technical ability, but also through his vision and experience. His presence elevated everyone around him. Teammates played with more confidence. Young players learned from one of the greatest football minds in history. Fans witnessed moments of brilliance that reminded them why Messi has long been considered one of the greatest players to ever touch a football. But the championship was not just about Messi. Inter Miami proved that success in football is always a team effort. Players across the squad stepped up when it mattered most. The coaching staff crafted strategies that allowed the team to balance attacking flair with defensive discipline. And together, they built a championship team. When the final whistle blew in the MLS Cup final, Inter Miami had achieved something historic. They were champions. The celebration began immediately. Fans filled the streets of Miami. Social media exploded with highlights and reactions. Football fans across the world recognized that something significant had just happened in American soccer. But the celebration did not end in Miami. Soon after the victory, an invitation arrived from Washington. The White House wanted to honor the team. For decades, championship teams from America's major sports leagues have visited the White House as part of a long-standing tradition. Super Bowl champions, NBA title winners, and World Series teams have all stood on the same grounds celebrating their victories. Now, Major League Soccer champions were joining that tradition. And this particular visit carried global significance because of one man, Lionel Messi. When the Inter Miami players arrived in Washington, cameras from around the world captured the moment. Fans gathered outside hoping to catch a glimpse of their heroes. Journalists from international media outlets covered the story as it unfolded. Because Messi is more than just a football player. He is a global icon. For nearly 2 decades, he has defined excellence in the sport. His achievements include multiple Ballon d'Or awards, countless club trophies, and the ultimate triumph of winning the FIFA World Cup with Argentina. Everywhere he goes, history seems to follow. Standing on the south lawn of the White House, the Argentine superstar looked calm and humble as always. The MLS Cup trophy sat proudly nearby, representing the culmination of months of hard work and dedication. President Trump greeted the team and congratulated them on their remarkable season. He praised their determination, their talent, and the excitement they had brought to soccer fans across the United States. He also acknowledged the enormous global influence of Lionel Messi, describing him as one of the greatest athletes in sports history. The crowd applauded. For a brief moment, politics faded into the background. Instead, the focus was on sport, on achievement, on the universal language of football. Messi stepped forward to speak. True to his personality, he kept his remarks simple and sincere. He thanked his teammates, the fans, and the Inter-Miami organization for supporting him throughout the season. He spoke about how special it felt to win a championship in the United States, and how exciting it was to see soccer continuing to grow across the country. Those words resonated with many observers, because the growth of soccer in America is one of the most fascinating sports stories of the modern era. Just a few decades ago, professional soccer in the United States struggled to gain mainstream attention. The sport faced challenges competing with established leagues like the NFL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. But over time, that began to change. Youth participation in soccer increased dramatically. Immigrant communities brought deep football traditions with them. International tournaments attracted massive audiences. And Major League Soccer steadily built a stronger foundation. New stadiums were constructed. New teams joined the league. Investment poured into youth academies and player development programs. Little by little, soccer carved out its place in American sports culture. The arrival of Lionel Messi accelerated that progress. His presence attracted global attention to the league. International broadcasters began covering MLS matches more extensively. Sponsors recognized new marketing opportunities. Suddenly, American soccer looked different to the rest of the world. And events like the White House celebration reinforced that transformation. Because honoring an MLS championship team alongside other major sports champions sends a clear message. Soccer has arrived. For Inter Miami, the moment also marked an extraordinary chapter in the club's history. The team, co-owned by former football legend David Beckham, was founded with an ambitious vision. Beckham dreamed of building a club that could compete at the highest level while also representing the vibrant international culture of Miami. That vision became reality with the signing of Lionel Messi. And now, with an MLS Cup victory and a White House visit, the club has firmly established itself as one of the most recognizable brands in global football. But the deeper significance of this story goes beyond trophies or ceremonies. In a world often divided by politics, culture, and conflict, sport has a unique ability to unite people. Football, in particular, is the most global sport on the planet. It is played in villages, cities, beaches, and stadiums across every continent. Fans from different cultures may speak different languages, but they all understand the joy of a beautiful goal, the drama of a last-minute winner, and the excitement of a championship victory. That universal connection was visible during the White House celebration. People from around the world watched the ceremony online. Fans shared highlights on social media. News outlets reported on the event from Europe to South America to Asia. And for a moment, the focus shifted away from conflict. Instead, the conversation was about sport, about excellence, about one of the greatest players in football history continuing to inspire millions. As the ceremony concluded and the Inter-Miami players prepared to leave Washington, it was clear that the event had created a memorable moment not only for the team but for the sport itself. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are not about politics or war. Sometimes they are about human achievement, about teamwork, about the joy that sports can bring to people around the world. And on that day at the White House, Lionel Messi and Inter Miami reminded everyone of that truth. Stay with NEWSIX Brief as we continue bringing you the biggest global stories, the moments shaping sports and politics, and the events that connect people across the world.